What's up, guys? Welcome to a Nerd Life reaction. I am Kiku, your host, and of course, with me right now is my lifelong friend, my hetero life mate, Aaron Morris, one of the biggest nerds I know, as you noticed if you're watching this video, almost as big as a pop collection as I have, so you should listen to what he has to say. We're actually going to cover today the Wonder Woman trailer. It came out San Diego Comic-Con. It's the first trailer from that movie. And it's coming out of the highly controversial or highly divisive, really, DC Cinematic Universe or DC Extended Universe, whichever acronym you want to use. It doesn't matter. Aaron, you've seen the trailer, right? Well, I'd hope so.
Yes, obviously. Probably I watched it 3 times. I actually just watched it again 2 minutes before you sent me the invite because I wanted to have it fresh in my mind. But I mean, that didn't help just to watch it again because it's almost like giving me a loss for words. Like the first time I watched it, I was like filled with things to say about it, and then I was like at a loss. Like, I mean, just to start things off, like I'm sure you would agree, but dude, this movie has like so much importance in it.
Yes.
Obviously, I mean, I know you personally, and then the people that listen to you all the time can probably get the hint that you are more so a Marvel guy as far as just Marvel and DC goes. Probably a little bit heavier on the Marvel side, with the exception of Superman.
Well, okay, so I'll put it to you like this. Like in the past, 12 years since we had the MCU come out, I mean, Marvel in the theaters, critically, whatever fan reaction, whatever you want to say, has crushed Warner Brothers and DC. And that's why I focus so much on it, because right now it is the gold standard. Growing up in the 80s, comic book wise, Marvel was not the gold standard. It was DC. I mean, you think about, Superman was just ending its 4-movie run. We had Batman in 1989 going, well into the late 90s, mid to late 90s. So this is how it goes, right? I want DC to succeed. Like, I even on Neek, when we talk about it, we always seem like, we're giving benefit of the doubt to Marvel, which, I mean, we do, because they've earned it, right? Like, they've made phenomenal movies for the last, decade plus. And, DC is kind of tripped up, especially with my favorite superhero. So Wonder Woman is very important for many reasons, right? And I think that's what you were getting at. It's important because this looks like, from the trailer, this is going to be the first, phenomenal DC movie to come out in this new DCCU.
And it's crazy that we live in a time right now that we can get all of that information from a 3-minute trailer.
Right.
And we can already basically assume that, like, this is it for DC. You know me personally, you know how I feel about the Dark Knight.
I do.
Trilogy, but especially the Dark Knight movie. I mean, we could do a 2-hour cast on my thoughts and opinions of the Dark Knight movie.
Right.
Just by itself. But here's the thing. The Dark Knight trilogy, I kind of, in my own mind, don't even really consider that a DC Universe thing.
It's really not.
Because it's not, and it's completely separate. But when you say stuff like the gold standard, that's the gold standard, the only gold standard that DC has, to their credit, in my mind.
Well,
as far as movies go.
Well, I mean, the first Richard Donner Superman, before it really that series really got campy.
I guess I'm more so talking about what, like you said, in the last 12 years with Marvel.
Right. Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. Today, right now, it's the only gold standard that DC has, but I don't consider it DC's universe at all.
No, it's very much self-contained.
Yeah, this Wonder Woman trailer, and then what's going to be the Wonder Woman movie. This is it. Like, yeah, this is. I mean, I feel like I've kind of already even forgotten that Batman vs Superman was a movie, just after watching this trailer. Like, I don't even count that now. Like I understand what it did and what it was wanting to do, and which it kind of failed at. But man, this Wonder Woman movie it's the beginning.
Yeah,
It really is the beginning.
it truly is. And I think there's a little bit of unfairness to it because the fact that it is going to be the first female-driven comic book movie, I think you're getting this, extra attention paid to it because they can't mess it up, right? Which is a good thing. I mean, that's a fabulous thing, not to detract from it. But by all accounts, and we need to do, compare it from this trailer versus like the first Justice League trailer, or not Justice League, Batman vs Superman trailer, or even the second or the third. Immediately it evoked like this movie is going to be good. Like it's going to be more than good. It's going to be fabulous. I mean, getting into the trailer itself, they're going to show Wonder Woman's origin, like the story of, how she came to be, meeting Steve Trevor, Etta Candy, all that stuff. And I think that's fabulous, like so phenomenal, because that story's really never been told on the small screen or the big screen.
No, not at all. And well, I'm just gonna get this out of the way. This is just all personal. I'm not a huge Chris Pine fan.
That's fine.
That's the only thing about it that I don't love. But even with that, like I don't dislike him enough to where it's bothering me one way or the other. I'm sure it's gonna be fine.
Well, I mean,
the only thing I could take away negative right now, if you want to talk anything negative, just for me personally, that's it. That's just it. Just because I just never really liked him.
Well, I mean, Chris Pine as Steve Trevor is going to be the damsel in distress in this movie. Like that's, that's cool. Like we're going to see a male damsel in distress. And look, when they announced Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman a couple of years ago, I was one of the naysayers. In fact, today on my Facebook timeline, one of the memories even said, I'm not too sure about this. I don't like this casting. That obviously I was wrong. I will admit that on air. Completely wrong after seeing her in Batman vs Superman. But seeing her in the Wonder Woman trailer and actually really getting to be Wonder Woman, getting to be Princess Diana, just like she was the right pick. Like that is such a good choice. And the way she talks, the way she moves, the thing that we pointed out when we did our Batman vs Superman review on Neek was that she has this little smile when she's fighting. Like she is a warrior who loves to do battle, and she has that smile, right? Like in the trailer, she has the smile, and it just, you're just like, yes.
Would you agree that if everything's always going to be compared to Marvel Cinematic Universe when it comes to DC's movies?
I think it will be because they're.
But could you? Oh, I'm sorry. But I was saying, could you draw the comparison for Gal Gadot, Wonder Woman being? Let's just say this does everything that we're talking about, and all of our hopes and dreams for it come true, and it's the most phenomenal DC movie ever, which really isn't hard right now. But besides all that, this could be the equivalent, DC's equivalent to Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. Picking the right person for the role that could continue this role for years to come. And when people say Wonder Woman, they automatically are going to say Gal Gadot is Wonder Woman. She's Wonder Woman. Nobody else could be Wonder Woman.
I don't know if that's going to happen. I think it's going to be more along the lines of Captain America. I think Wonder Woman is going to be their Captain America, to be perfectly honest. Because if you do too much Batman right now, we've had how many Batman movies at this point?
Not enough.
No, I mean, for you. But, we have a solo Batman movie coming out. I don't think Gal Gadot will, forever be like that. No one else could be Wonder Woman. But I think that there will be arguments about who is the better Wonder Woman if they ever decide to do another one, right? Like, I mean, that will definitely happen. Right. I personally feel that the trajectory of Wonder Woman should go more on a Captain America line, sequel like a Winter Soldier, and then the third one like a Civil War, where the stakes are always raised and higher because, look, if this movie pulls off even 3/4 of the expectation I think it's going to in quality, you will have a basis to do movies like that. So, the trailer shows everything that it needs to show. It shows her in action. It shows the world that she's in. I was actually really surprised that we don't get to see the main villain in it. No main villain whatsoever. You know, general. There was like the, I guess, assassination scene where she's in a night, you know, in a gown, and she's got the sword strapped to her back, which I thought was really cool.
Really cool.
But the trailer did everything right to set up that world. And what I really enjoyed that Patty Jenkins, the director, obviously wanted to do was make the world look cold around her, and then her outfit is bright. It's, you know, Wonder Woman bright. She stands out in the scenery like a beacon of hope, which is something Zack Snyder should have done for Superman, but we're not going to get into that.
Right. It's cool. It's cool that you mentioned there's like little things that I keep trying to remember in my mind that you're saying, because there's so many good points that you made. The costume. It's great when you get a comic book movie where they nail the costume right.
Right.
That's one of the best parts about Civil War. Obviously, Spider-Man's performance in Civil War was awesome, but people were stoked about them nailing Spider-Man's costume in Civil War because it's the coolest looking one so far. You know.
Well, they also did the CGI eyes, right? To where they half lit it, and you're just like, yes, like the comics. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So the costume's great. I know. I listened to the Last Sneak episode earlier today while I was at work, and the lasso. I mean, looks amazing. What I like about what Patty Jenkins did also is when you mentioned the world around her looking cold and her looking bright. I know that we love this term nowadays, but it's not very dark and gritty looking, but it is at the same time. Like it's just enough dark and gritty to be, oh, DC's everything's dark and gritty, but really it's not that dark and gritty. Like it seems like it's found a really good balance with this trailer. So
I think we really need to switch it. That it shouldn't be dark and gritty. It doesn't look dour, right? Like Justice League looked dour. Man of Steel looked dour. Or Batman vs Superman. I keep saying Justice League.
Batman vs Superman.
Dour. It has this dour, melancholy feeling, just like weighing it down. And that doesn't mean that you can't have heavy emotions and heavy thoughts. But you know, this Wonder Woman trailer, like, yeah, she's in war. You see the grittiness, you see the darkness, but when she steps out, she's not a part of it. You know, she's bright and in your face, and you know that's the type of stuff that comic book heroes should be. They should be the bastion of hope, the light in the darkness, and just that one little thing makes the entire scene open up, right? Like you're not like, oh, I'm just looking at more blue, depressing people all the time. This dour shit, you know, and that's fabulous, and especially like with the lasso, and which is something I didn't bring up. When she attaches the lasso, it glows gold. You know, like it's turned on, like you would see in the comics, and that could have been something that came off really campy, but it looks amazing, and I'm so like I said before, so happy that they didn't stray away from that they were like, no, this is a part of her, this is a part of the story, we're going to embrace this. And of course, every scene Diana fighting, she's kicking ass, and that's Wonder Woman, you know, hands down. That's Wonder Woman. Very excited about this movie. The trailer, we were excited, and I know you were excited before it a little bit, which surprised me. I didn't think you were gonna really like Wonder Woman, but after this trailer, I don't know how anyone could not be excited for this movie.
And here's the thing. Yeah, I'm excited for Wonder Woman, but I'm 50% excited for Wonder Woman, 50% excited for seeing the real DC universe that we deserve.
Right.
Starting with this movie. And to go back and touch on the dark and gritty thing for just a second, like what you just said about her coming out in the trailer and showing you that she's that light around all of this cold kind of dourness, it just makes you want to like grab Zack Snyder by the shirt and be like, see, dude, it can't rain all the time. It just can't, you know? Like, it doesn't have to rain all the time.
Yeah. Which is funny because Josh Finney, the co-host, was like, it's, you know, seems like Patty Jenkins borrowed Zack Snyder cinematographer, and said, and a couple of other people,
Right,
Zach, you just stay away from the project.
Exactly.
And which is, I mean, it looks good, and to switch gears a little bit, because I thought since we're on the topic of trailers that came out on SDCC, and we are talking about DC, which is the Justice League trailer, still has that dour look to it, right?
Are you talking about the Justice League trailer,
Yeah,
or the Bruce Wayne Flash trailer?
The Bruce Wayne Flash trailer, where we don't really get to see Aquaman, and there's a lot of forced humor in it.
Yeah.
Look, I'm excited to see the Justice League because it's the Justice League, but if the humor is going to be like that, one of my most favorite things that have come out now that I've seen on Twitter, I've seen on Facebook as memes, is the thing where, Batman goes to Superman, do you bleed? And then he goes to Aquaman, I hear you talk to fish, and then it says, Alfred, stop talking shit to people that can kill you.
Right, yeah.
And it's like, that makes sense. Like, it really does.
It bothers me, man, when I watched that trailer, just because that's the first. It's funny that you mentioned that exact part of it, because when I see their attempt at humor in that dour type setting, it just it makes me sad for them, like, because the Marvel movies have that humor and it's not forced,
Right?
And it's like DC's trying to answer back at that directly by saying, "Oh, look, we're putting jokes in here too.
Well,
you should laugh at these."
I mean, you got to.
It just feels forced.
Well,
like,
you got to think about it though. This is very reactionary to the fact that people said that Batman versus Superman was too melancholic, which it was. But when you look at DC or Marvel right now, a lot of the actors that that are comedic, right? Like they chose their comedic actors very well. Robert Downey Jr. has a history in comedy. Chris Evans doesn't, but they make Chris Evans play like more of the straight man. Like when he says language, right, in the first Avengers or whatever, Age of Ultron. It's not him being comedic. It's just the fact that this character being played this way said something like that in modern day. They're very good at doing that. We're going from Batman vs. Superman, where literally Ben Affleck's Batman had a giant stick in his ass the entire movie. I don't think he smiled at all in the entire movie. And now he's wisecracking jokes. Like, it's such a tonal shift, so quickly that.
And he did kind of crack a joke in Batman vs. Superman in the scene where it's him, Superman, and Wonder Woman, getting ready to fight Doomsday, with the whole thing of just like, I thought she was with you, but didn't crack a smile like while he said it, and it just seemed like, I don't know, man, it was just kind of dumb. Like, yeah, I get it. That was where you were trying to get like some people to chuckle, but it just didn't work. That's the thing that I love. Another thing about the Dark Knight trilogy, there was humor in those three movies. Most of the time, it was between Bruce Wayne / Batman and Alfred.
Right.
But Christian Bale and Michael Caine had that type of like an on-screen Alfred Bruce Wayne relationship to where it worked. It was funny when it was supposed to be. And it just didn't seem forced like it does in Batman vs Superman and the Justice League trailer.
Right. And then of course we have the scene with the Flash, which was a cool scene. That was funny, but if you're a fan of Barry Allen, that wasn't Barry Allen. That was he seemed very much more Peter Parker.
Yeah, and again, listening to the Neek episode earlier, it's hard to, because I just feel like I just want to repeat the things that you guys already touched on, because you nailed it. Like, that's exactly what I think most people in our shoes that follow this stuff, thoroughly, probably thought that, like, watching this, like, wow, that was a really Peter Parker thing to say, or a Peter Parker way to act, not a Barry Allen way.
Like, I also want to clarify, though, because we didn't really say it on the episode, was that Ezra Miller does a good job. Like, he does a good job. It's not stilted. It's a very natural thing that he's saying. He looks really good. I'm not trying to take away from him. but it seems like they're not exactly getting the characters right, right? Like Wonder Woman, thank God they didn't really touch on that they gave it to a woman, you know, to develop and whatnot. But we're really getting our first glances of Flash and Cyborg, which we got to see, looked really cool. We didn't really get a lot of time with him in the trailer. We get to see Aquaman, which, of course, when they announced Jason Momoa being cast as Aquaman, I said that it's funny that he will be the baddest ass Justice League character ever, you know, from zero to hero. Because Jason Momoa, I've met him, is a huge man, and he is rock solid.
Yeah, he rustles my jimmies just as much as Gal Gadot does.
Yeah.
No shame in saying that. Yeah.
Very, very excited about him. I just wish they would have shown more actual Aquaman than him about to just dominate Bruce Wayne in a fishing village in probably Alaska. So,
Right.
you know, but with that, Aaron, do you have any final thoughts on these trailers?
Just can't wait, man. I guess, yeah, maybe the one thing we didn't touch on real quick is that what you said about the villain, not having a villain in it. It didn't bother me. I think that the Wonder Woman trailer was not too much and not too little. It was it was just great. That's all we needed.
Right, and I agree with you. I think this is the true start of the DCEU after two mind-numbingly gross stumbles. That this is going to be the film that really breaks out. Hopefully, that carries over into the Justice League and then into the future films as well. You know, because they can't just depend on Wonder Woman and Batman to save an entire franchise. Like, that just is not going to happen. You need to have more than two standout characters.
Agreed. You come up here to visit sometime, man. I'll take you to the house that they used. It's about 20 minutes up the road from where I live. The house that they used in Man of Steel, Clark Kent's parents' house. It's here in Illinois. Like I said, about 20 minutes from where I live. I'll take you there. You can pee on the doorstep if you want.
I wouldn't do that. I'd take a picture of it and be like, you know, this is Superman history. I mean, I don't like the movie, but, you know, it's still part of Superman history. I mean, I didn't like when he chained together like 9 planets and flew them through space because I thought it was obnoxious, but it's still part of Superman history. I have to appreciate it. But Aaron, thank you for being on to react with me to this stuff. Guys, check out the rest of my reaction videos. I got one for the Killing Joke that I got to see. Not probably what I wanted to see, but, you know, it happened. And, of course, all of my interviews and any future stuff, comedic videos, and other stuff that I do around Pensacola, Florida. So with that, guys, keep it nerdy, and I will catch you next time.